Hey everyone, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a playthrough of the sort of solo mode. You'll see what I mean, it's a little bit different, for Command & Colors Medieval. And disclaimer that I got a review copy for this one. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Command & Colors Medieval is an entry in the long-running Command & Colors series. I've played a bunch of these, Memoir 44 from Days of Wonder, both versions of Battle Lore, 1st and 2nd edition from Fantasy Flight, Command & Colors Ancients, which Medieval is heavily based upon, and then, of course, Medieval here. But GMT has a whole bunch of other ones set in this world, and now there's also an upcoming Star Wars Battle of Hoth game coming that uses a similar system. So lots of ways to experience the Command & Colors wargame system if you like it. But these are strictly 1v1, sometimes like 2v2 team-based games where you have your army and you're fighting their army. You're moving your units around, made up of different numbers of people. In this one, it's all wooden blocks, and you sometimes have special terrain and stuff to move around. But Command & Colors is a card-driven war game, so players are going to have a hand of cards that indicate one side of the battlefield usually and how many units can be moved from that side. And they take turns playing cards to activate their units, move them, attack, and try to earn a certain number of banners to secure victory, which generally comes from fully defeating units, taking away all 4 of their health. And another major feature of the Command & Colors system is the division of the battlefield. They're somewhat faint, but there are lines dividing into left, middle, and right flanks. And as you saw with the cards, you'll be ordering different units based on those flanks. Now, I mentioned I was doing a sort of solo playthrough. What do you mean, Mike? Well, GMT has this CDG card-driven game solo system, and they sent me a printed version of the materials, which is just 2 little fold-out things and some tokens and a die, but you can also proxy it pretty easily. They have the free materials available on their website. So how this solo system works is I'm playing both sides of the battle, okay? So it's, again, not solo the way a lot of you think of it, although this is how I started playing solo games back with old war games and stuff. I would just play against myself. But how they keep it interesting is that you don't see the cards. So usually you'd have a hand of cards and you could pick one to play. Instead, your cards are all face down on this board, and players at the beginning of their turn are going to roll this die, and it's going to tell them which cards to flip, in this case A, B, and C, face up, and also which cards they can choose among, so in this case A, B, or C. So this is much more limited than the regular card play of Command & Colors, because here my faction has a 5 hand size, so I should be able to see 5 cards and pick from them each turn, but instead I'll be forced into picking 2 or 3 cards. But the big thing is only certain cards are revealed at a time. Like if I'd roll this A, B, and C, I'd flip all 3 of these and I'd pick one, but 2 of those cards would remain for me to see and look at. So when I switch to the other faction and take their turn, I have some limited information on what the other side is more likely to do in response, but not so much information that it becomes kind of impossible to play both sides fairly. Now, for each game that works with the solo system, they have a 1-pager rule sheet. Here's one I printed out for Medieval, again from GMT's website, that kind of talks about like special rules or exceptions in specific scenarios. But honestly, it's pretty straightforward stuff. So let's kind of look at the makeup of the forces, and then I'll teach you the game as we play through. So this is the 4th scenario in the game. There's a whole bunch of them, and this is the recommended one for kind of learning, so I thought it'd be an easier one to show off on the video. So on the sort of left and middle flank of the Byzantines, which is going to be the player on the south, we've got some pretty strong cavalry formations. This is a very cavalry-heavy scenario. Other scenarios have tons of foot soldiers. So what you're going to see is you've got units with 4 health each. Now, normally they would be standing up, so they wouldn't take as much space in a given hex, but I figure it's a lot easier to see them laying them down like that. And you see the color of the wood shows which force it is, so purple is for Byzantines. Cavalry units have a much bigger block, while infantry have much smaller blocks. And the big thing you're looking at is this icon in the upper right corner. This denotes what level of cavalry or infantry they are. So the blue triangle is medium, so it is medium cavalry. The red square is heavy, so these are heavy cavalry. And then over here on the right, we have some green circle light cavalry. Now, there's a few distinctions within those colors, but that's kind of like the main way things are divided up in the game. You've also got these kind of more rectangular blocks that are leaders that just hang out with specific units, although they can operate on their own, and they help to make everyone around them a little bit stronger, a little more dependable. So yeah, the Byzantines have 2 strong cavalry formations, kind of their best units in the game over here. But they're facing off against a crazy strong Sassanid force up here in the north. I'm not as familiar with this nation, by the way. But yeah, so they have 4 heavy cavalry units to my 2, and 2 of them, you see the white outline here, these are super heavy cavalry, the toughest units in the game, each with a leader helping them out. They've also got some more medium cavalry and 1 light cavalry over there. Moving to the other side of things, the Sassanids have on hills, which gives them a little bit of a defensive advantage, a bunch of ranged infantry units. So these ones here with the circle on the green are auxilia infantry. They can throw javelins, but also fight pretty well in hand-to-hand. And then here and here, we've got light bow infantry that can shoot super far, but are pretty terrible if they actually get into contact. And their third leader is back here with some more medium infantry kind of behind the line of hills. These are hexes that are added to the blank board. Oh, and you might notice a slight difference. These guys with bows on their picture, they are light bow cavalry, while these guys are just light non-bow cavalry. They can't shoot as far. Now, the light cavalry have like a small set of advantages in close combat, but usually the light bow cavalry are just straight up better than the regular light cavalry. Meanwhile, the Byzantine side is way back, like all the way up. Their guys on the left are like much more far forward, so it's going to take a lot to even get them into battle. But they've got the strongest infantry in the game, these heavy infantry here, along with their super heavy cavalry, 1 unit, but again, they're like way out of position, and these guys aren't very fast. And this is where they've got their light cavalry, as well as their only longer range light infantry with another leader, like kind of wasted on them. So that is the makeup of the forces. But let's just go ahead and start playing. I'm, again, trying to like get to where I can attack people and kill them. If you can completely wipe out a unit, you get a banner. We need to get 6. By the way, you'll notice up here we have 2 of these tokens. Those are called inspired action tokens, which are in addition to the medieval system. They were not in ancients, although a lot of other stuff is very similar from the 2 systems. And we can use those to boost some of our actions that are targeting our leaders to do like super actions with big bonuses, or we can use them defensively to modify results a bit. We'll talk about all that when we get to it. Let's just kind of jump in. All right, so I'm rolling for the Byzantines. They take the first turn, and we have gotten E with a less than symbol. What does that mean? You know, that's a complicated one. Let me just roll again because I want to like kind of talk you through the basics first. Let's get one with basic. Come on now. What the heck? Basic letters. Dude, there we go. A, B, C. All right, great. So I'm going to flip up all of A, B, and C. And now I pick one of these. So I can order 2 units on the left, 2 units in the center, or do the special action. There's like a bunch of these different cards. This one lets me order all of my leaders on the board, which is not a great idea right now, because it would let me attack with +1 battle die, but I'd kind of rather wait until the combat is actually joined. So we've got most of our cavalry in the left and kind of in the center. See, I'm going to do order 2 units in the center. So I'll discard this card after I activate it. All right, I'm looking for any units from this area to this area, and people that are on the intersecting hexes, like here and here, can be ordered. So I'll go ahead and order him. I'm going to use like some cubes to mark him. I'm going to order... Actually, I will do 2 leaders, I think. Yeah, I'll do him and him. And there's a whole bunch of stats for each type of unit, but heavy cavalry can move up to 2, and then they can shoot if they have bows. And in this scenario, all the cavalry have bows, but sometimes that's not the case. Up to 3. They could not move at all and do a range attack more effectively, or they can move and then do a range attack, but not as well. Now, units can never move through other units except with a very few minor exceptions. So I'm going to move them up their max of 2 movement. And to get my heavy infantry into like a better attack position, let's go ahead and bring my leader up there. Now, if we had moved next to anybody, then we could do a regular attack. But instead here, this guy can do a range attack at up to 3 hexes. We need to have line of sight from center to center. That's pretty obviously going to be fine here. So let's, I don't know, shoot these light cavalry here. How range combat works is, in general, if your unit moved, then they get to roll 1 die. If they didn't move, they get to roll 2 dice. And the only thing that hits in range combat is the shape that matches your target. So here I would need a green. There's 1 of each shape, red, green, and blue. There's also swords, which are the most complicated result. We'll get to those when we get to a close combat, but they mean nothing in range combat. Oh, and sorry, actually, flags also matter in range combat, but they make the units retreat. But here we just really want a green, pretty low odds. Oh, actually, no, never mind. For range combat, that doesn't matter. For close combat, if you had a leader in your unit or adjacent, then the helmet counts as a hit to do damage. Each damage removing 1 block. But yeah, range combat, again, I'm literally just looking for the green or the flag. So we didn't get any of that. That's it for my action. And whichever spot I took the card from, I put a new card in face down. But again, the opponent, or me, as I choose what to do for the other side, I know for a fact that they have an order 2 units left and that they have this leader's action. So I don't know if they'll actually roll that result to be able to... What the heck is up with this E less than? I don't know if they'll actually be able to use that result, but I at least know that it's available. So you kind of have a little bit of information as you plan for the other side. All right, so coming over to the Sassanids, they have 4 inspired actions, even though they only have 3 leaders. And by the way, historically, they dominated this fight. And actually, my last time playing this scenario, they dominated as well. So we'll see if the Byzantines can do a little bit better. All right, and they are doing CDE. So once again, oh man, they got mounted charge. Are you kidding me? Oh, what the heck? They got all special ones? So mounted charge is super dangerous with this cavalry heavy force. We can order 3 or fewer mounted units anywhere. Doesn't matter what section they're in. And they get an additional die if they're a regular mounted unit, or 2 additional dice if they're a super heavy unit, so they can do way more damage. So that's a big one. If we have... we'll have to see if we have cavalry units in the right spot to capitalize on that. My other one, which I somehow have 2 of, is line command. I can order any group of units, foot mounted or leaders. The group must be in adjacent linked contiguous hexes, which may span 2 or 3 sections. But each unit and or leader may only move 1 hex and then may engage in ranged combat or close combat if eligible. Yeah, it's kind of the most insane card we could have gotten, so let's use it. And guess how many of our units are in contiguous lines with a little bit of sweeping shot? All of them. Oh my god. Now, they can only move 1 space, but they can then do a ranged combat or a close combat, which some of my guys are going to do, actually a lot of them. So I'm probably not going to have the infantry abandon their hills, but I mean, everybody else. Yeah, because the red guys can only move 2, and now they're in range to bring some pain. Oh, this is not going to work out, is it? Well, let's bring up my blue guys. I guess these guys can kind of sweep in. Although, I mean, they'll just get massacred. You know what? They might just stay there and not move, and I'll leave those guys behind. They don't need to move either. These guys are all fine. Oh, them, medium cavalry can move. Oh, that's right. They can only move 1. I was going to say they can move up to 3 normally. But yeah, let's try to start getting that leader around to the other side. All right, now this is going to hurt. We're going to have a lot of range combat, y'all. Now, the light bow cavalry have 3 range. That'll be enough. The light bow infantry have 4 range. The auxilia only have 2 range, and these guys are too far. So, like, a lot of people who didn't move are going to get to roll 2 dice, and then all these freaking cavalry are going to get 1 die. All right, so let's just go down the line and try to concentrate our fire. So we'll have all these guys try to shoot this same medium infantry, see if they can take them out. All right, so number 1... Now, retreat. So let's talk about retreats for a second. So for each flag rolled in ranged or melee combat, the unit has to retreat a number of hexes. And for cavalry, it's the same as their basic movement, 2, 3, or 4. Retreats have to be directly towards their side of the battlefield. And really importantly, if somebody is in your way, because you can't move through units, remember, then for every hex you couldn't move, so like here, these guys would have to retreat 3, they take 1 damage. So that 1 flag would make them get totally wrecked. Oh, where was this? Here, right? Yeah. But 2 things let you ignore retreats, which is why our formations are pretty good right now. If you have 2 helping units, 2 allies adjacent to you, then you can ignore 1 flag on each combat, so this guy's fine. And if you have a leader with you, you can ignore 1 flag. So here they're ignoring 1 flag. That attack result did nothing. All right, these guys next. They got a green. That doesn't work. Let's switch over here for the blue guys here. They can't ignore a retreat, so... Nope, that doesn't do it. Okay, these guys on them. Nope. Now, these guys might as well shoot the leader's unit, because every time a leader's unit loses troops, they have a chance of actually killing the leader, which is worth a banner by itself, and of course takes away the leader's bonuses. Although, they can ignore a flag. Never mind, I'll keep on attacking these guys with the red. Nope. And then the blue. Nope. Okay, this is going great. Okay, now these guys will shoot the leader. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the one I already attacked. All right, so these guys didn't move, so they each get 2 on the leader. Okay. Flag, but they get to ignore it because of the leader. Okay, these light cavalry. Nothing, because those don't work in close range combat. And last one, let's see if we can get anything going on. A flag that gets ignored by the leader. Okay, so no results for the Sassanids, but still, they have gotten their entire line moved up, and just like an indomitable thing, we got to make a crack in it somehow. But that's it for them. All right, coming back, I think the Byzantines are a little bit intimidated. Wow, we've got our entire... Oh, and we got another mounted charge for ourselves. Ooh, and command center is pretty dang good. So we can do coordinated attack. That's 1 unit in each area. Command center, we get to do units equal to command, which is our hand size, 5. Now note that even if our hand size was like 3 or 7, we'd still have all 5 of these spots used. What does change though is if your side has more or fewer cards than the other side. How they model that is they put like multiple cards in the A slot or the B slot so that when that slot is rolled, you get more choices. So like if I had a max hand size of 6 and they had a max hand size of 4, I'd have extra cards in A and B and I'd be able to do more stuff. Yeah, so I could order 5 people in the center, or I could do a mounted charge. I mean, that seems kind of killer, but I'd be really vulnerable afterwards. Because I'm thinking I could, like, charge these guys up to, like, try to smash that medium cavalry, but then I'd be putting myself into a pretty vulnerable position. What if I do command center instead and see what happens? So that's 5 units in the center, which is everybody. So let's move this heavy infantry. They only move 1, so they're very slow if they ever even get into the battle. But let's bring my super heavy guys up a little closer to the action. And then, see, this is what got me last time. I ran forward with the Byzantines, and they just mauled me. Because, I mean, they've got another line command that could smash me completely. They've got a mounted charge. That would be devastating. I really shouldn't do this. What if I mean, I could, like, consolidate my units and wait for them to come to me, but you do get, here's the thing, if we charge in and get some good rolls, then you get to do what's called a momentum advance and a bonus attack. This is something a cavalry can do, but infantry usually can't do unless they have a leader. So we could like attack and then attack again. We can get like 6 attacks with boosts from the mounted bonus. Screw it. Let's get some excitement going. All right, so you can choose what order you move people. You have to do all your movement, then all of your combat. So the leader can only move 2. These guys can move 3. We could charge at the green guys who have the weakest armor, but they have what's called evasion, like all the mounted units can evade. And you can generally only evade someone who's like heavier than you. So the light cavalry can easily evade my medium and heavy cavalry here, which means I'll barely be able to hurt them. The bow guys even get what's called a Parthian shot, where they get to like pelt you with arrows as they just dodge out of your way. So my best chance usually is to have like blue on blue and red on red so that the evasion isn't possible. So what's the best way to do this? Well, let's deal with some evasion. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and kind of protect the leader. I don't know. I'm not necessarily great at the game. All right, and then I can decide what order to attack in. So I want to have the blue guys attack the blue before I have the red attack them, because then they can just evade. Although I don't know if I would choose to evade. You do still make defensive decisions for the other side, even when you're controlling the main side, by the way. So like there's no system that tells you like when to evade or not. You just have to use your own judgment. So I didn't do the mounted charge, which would have given us a bonus. So we're just rolling. It's 3 dice for medium generally, 4 dice for heavy, 2 dice for light in close combat. And we'll get into the more complicated results you can get in close combat in a second. Okay, that's actually a pretty good result. That's a pretty good result. So, flag you already heard about. They're ignoring it because they clearly have at least 2 allied units next to them, so they're not going to run away. Blue does damage to blue. That's pretty basic. So that's 1 damage gone. And then helmet only works, again, if you have a leader in your space or adjacent to your space. So that also hits. Now, if you kill a unit or make them run away, but not evade, if they choose to evade, it doesn't work. If you do either of those things, then you can do a momentum advance into their space, and then cavalry can even usually move again, and then they can do a bonus attack again, so it's friggin' great. Didn't happen here. They held the line. And also, if they hold the line, they get to do what's called a battle back. After each time you attack them, they get to hit you back if you didn't make them run away or kill them. So these guys are also doing 3 dice right back at me, which is kind of nasty, you butts. Okay, this is terrible in many ways. Let's talk about how. So, helmet, they've got a leader next to them. Ouch. And sword, like I said, is the most complicated one. So units get to ignore swords. First of all, not every unit uses swords, like a lot of the lighter units don't. Like the bow people can't use swords to hit. But you get to ignore swords, or at least 1 sword, from people who are lower than you in kind of like rank and heaviness. So if it was a red unit being attacked by a blue, the blue was attacking a red unit, they could ignore 1 sword because red is tougher than blue. And similarly, if an infantry unit is attacking a cavalry unit, they can ignore 1 sword for that. And if they have better armor and they're cavalry versus infantry, they can ignore 2 swords. Now here, blue on blue, both cavalry. I ain't ignoring anything. I'm kidding. Another guy killed. And then, flag. I don't have 2 allies supporting me. My other one's all the way over there, so I got to run away 3 hexes. Now I can choose which direction, although these guys might just be like so hurt I want to bring them back into battle. Because if you can keep like even one guy alive and then just run them away, then they don't get killed and the enemy doesn't get a banner. So yeah, I don't even know if I'll use them again, but there we go. They have retreated their 3 for the 1 flag. Now, importantly, only the active players' units can advance up and do the momentum advance after they make somebody retreat or kill them and like get a bonus attack. So these guys, even though they made me run away, they can't follow up on me. Okay, now, let's do this one on the blue guy. And I have to decide if I'm going to evade or not. And I think I will evade. So evading means that after the combat, they have to run away 2 spaces. And they can only evade because they are a lower heaviness. They are medium cavalry versus heavy. So like these guys have heavier armor. It's easier for them to get away. Now, if they evade, they can't battle back because they're moving backwards. Again, they have to retreat. So that's all negative. But the big positive is I'm rolling 4 dice with these guys because they're heavy. Normally I would hit on swords and I would hit on leader faces and I could make them run away with flags. All that is out the window. With an evasion, all that matters is the blue. That's literally all I can get. Now, if I get lucky, I'll get 2, and it won't matter at all. And, oh, shoot, that would have been 3 hits. Instead, it's only 1. So they did exactly what they wanted to do. Now they have to retreat 2. Well, let's get them kind of behind. Well, or should we? Yeah, I think that's fine. And again, because they evaded, not retreated, not were murdered, I can't follow up and get an extra attack. This is just going great. And finally, let's have blue attack these guys. They are obviously going to evade again, and they also get the Parthian shot. I'll show you how that works in a second. Okay, so 3 on green. Terrible roll. Okay, so the Parthian shot is only usable by the light bow cavalry. They get to do a 2 dice range attack, again, only hitting on the symbol, nothing else. So blues here, and even flags don't work with the Parthian shot. And, God, they got 1 hit. Stupid. God, this is terrible. Okay, but then they do have to also evade. I guess they'll, like, form a little triangle of flag ignoring right there. And, yeah, just sitting there with my leader hanging out. This is going to be terrible. Why did I charge forward? Nobody knows. All right, be kind, please. Be kind to me. Okay, good. A and B. They can't use their mounted charge or their line command. Let's see what else we got, though. Oh, God. Order 3 units in the center. That seems like the winner. Or scout is order and issue an order to 1 unit or leader in any section. But then when you're drawing command cards, you draw 2, choose 1. At least that's how it would work in the regular game. In this version, you still just replace it with 1, but you also get an inspired action token, which would be nice. So yeah, kind of obvious. Here we go. 3 units in the center. And they can just pick their poison, can't they? Well, actually, they don't have too many people in the center. Like their other heavy units are over here. But yeah, I guess they're just going to bring up... Well, who do they want to bring up? I mean, the super heavy, they're going to crush. Like that's just how it goes. Now, for the light mounted units, I might just want to use a range attack, although I can't be adjacent, so I'd have to like run these guys away to do it. So let's do like this. Move those guys to there, so that'll be 1. And then we can order these guys for the ranged attack. That can be 2. And I'll say let's bring up these guys. So let's go 2 and 3 to still get them like the flag ignoring. So these 3 are ordered. And let's try our range attacks first. Okay, so they're going to shoot at the leader. They need a red. Since they both move, they only get 1 die again. Flag doesn't matter because leader ignores 1. And the other guys, oops, it's a green. They didn't get it either. All right, so this actually didn't go too terribly because they'd be pretty dumb to charge forward with their green guys and attack red, since the red would ignore 1 sword from them and could smash them back pretty heavily with 4 dice. These only roll, the green cavalry only roll 2 dice in close combat. All right, but these guys, should I go for them? They could evade. I mean, it would leave the leader alive, but I could activate immediately afterwards. So yeah, I think I need to go the leader. Here we go. Oh, my God. Oh my God, that was terrible. Those are hits because there's a leader in their space or adjacent. And that's a hit because those are the heaviest soldiers out there. These guys can't ignore anything. And by the way, even though the super heavy cavalry are slightly heavier than the heavy cavalry, these guys can still not evade, and neither can they unless it's a foot unit. Cavalry can always evade from foot. So they couldn't have canceled all these with an evasion. So that's a 1 flag for them. They do have individual tokens, but I just like to move it here. Actually, what's kind of fun Let's do it this way, is even to mark it with who died. Now, whenever a unit containing a leader is damaged, whether they're retreating or, whatever it is, range combat, they have to roll a check to see if they survive. When the unit is not completely wiped out, when they just take 1 or more damage, you roll 2 dice, and only if both are a little command head, so that's a 1 out of 36 chance, then the leader dies. Here, because the unit was wiped out, we just roll a single die, and okay, they're okay. And now they have to retreat 1 to 3 spaces, their choice. And if they join a unit, then they immediately start leading them. So even though this is not the best unit to be hanging around, it's still better than the leader being by themselves. Because if a leader's by themselves, then enemies just roll dice like they normally would. If they get even a single leader ahead, they kill the leader. And again, leaders are worth 1 banner by themselves. Oh, that was terrible. I was feeling kind of good after the range combat miss, and then they just completely wiped me out with their super duper death units. I hate it. All right, but we got this. We got something to do. D&E, okay. Coordinate attack or leadership. Ooh, this is one of the ones that uses the inspiration tokens. So leadership cards usually work is you order a leader and then you can order adjacent units. For some, it's specific to left, center, or right. For this one, it's any leader anywhere and any 2 units. And they can either just be ordered normally or they can spend one of their inspiration tokens to do a special action, which includes things like stuff you've already seen, like the mounted charge. You can do a foot onslaught. With range units, you can move and then fire and then move again. Dark in the Sky lets range units attack twice. Fire and close would actually be kind of awesome. They get to do a range attack with a bonus, and also they haven't moved yet, so they get 2 dice, so really they get 3 dice, and then they can move, and then they can still close combat. That might actually work. Forget it. Let's go for it. Okay, so I'm going to do leadership any section with the inspiration, and let's do it over here, right? So I'm ordering these 3 guys. The leader's not going to be able to do much, but he's going to help both of them be more effective. And we want to, break this formation somehow. I could, really focus fire on the blue guy, although since I'm doing range attacks and anything hits 1 out of 6 times, I kind of want to, I could even, shoot at the leader, couldn't I? All right. So this guy can't reach them, so they could combine fire here or here. Let's try to kill some of these guys. All right, so this guy's going to shoot at them. Looking for reds. Hey, we got one. Yay. Okay, and then they're going to shoot at them. Whoa! Oh, this is looking good. Okay, so now they have to move only up to 2. It doesn't matter what the normal movement is. And they have to move to try to close combat the same person. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I think these guys can still move since it was originally a leadership action, even though they can't do close combat and didn't do a range attack. All right, so these 2 guys can only attack him. They cannot attack anybody else, but hopefully the first one of them can kill him. All right, so we'll have this guy try. Come on. The retreat is ignored, and the guy gets a battle back. And the fact that he's down to 1 unit does not matter. They still get back their full 4 battle back. This is terrible. Okay, that's not too bad. The sword does hit us because they're heavier armor than us, but the flag is ignored from the 2 supporters. All right, can we try this again, please? Can you kill this guy? Can you just finish the job? There we go. Went away. The sword would have been ignored. That would have been ignored, but that is a kill. They got 1 banner as well. And now because they got a banner, they can momentum advance, which is awesome. And then because they're cavalry, they can move 1 more, even back to the original space, because they have to take the momentum advance and the bonus movement, in this case, to be able to attack, but I don't want to leave my leader behind and his bonuses. And then they can do a bonus battle, which is going to be against these guys. Here we go. That's a good roll. That's 3 more guys gone. Wow. But these guys didn't retreat, so they do get to hit back. Oh, that's a good roll too. Crud. So we ignore 1 flag, but the other one's going to make us retreat 3. Now, one of the uses of inspiration tokens that you can kind of use at any time, not just with a leadership card, is to ignore a flag, 1 flag per token spent. You can also use it before an attack roll to gain +1 die. You can also use it at the end of your turn to move leaders really far. But here, I guess I'll just let it happen. Get the 3 movement back to, I don't know, over here. Now, 1 order. Oh, wait, can they get to 1, 2, 3? No, okay, I was thinking they might be able to get to a shared hex. So yeah, we'll still be over here. All right, but that was a solid turn. I've done some heavy damage to their left flank, just like they messed up my center. And it's funny, I'm saying them and me, but this is also me. And let's see how I do now. Let's see if I can guess. Oh, wait. Okay, we'll finally do this one. Okay, so with this result, and by the way, all this stuff is explained on a special sheet. First, if there were fewer than 2 cards face up, I would flip more of them face up. And then I have a choice. I can either play a tactics card, which are the special ones, or a card that just orders units regularly, but it has to be the one that orders the fewest units. So here I can choose between Scout. Actually, I can choose between all of these. I think Mounted Charge is going to be the way to go. Yeah, I think absolutely, without a question, that's what I want to do. So there's going to be 3 mounted units anywhere. Certainly them. Certainly these guys. And then I should probably order them just to get them the heck out of here, right? Or I could order the super heavy guys here to try to kill them off, but let's try to be a little defensive. So we'll order them. All right, so they have a 3 range attack, so let's actually put them back here, but they can still get a little shot on these guys. And then let's bring these guys in here. I'll have them attack first, and if they don't kill them, they can try to finish them off. If not, they can try to attack the leader. All right, so from up there, the medium cavalry attack in range for 1 die. Oh, that was a good roll. Ooh, I'm not feeling good about their chances. 4 dice from the super heavy here. Oh, wait, no, it's not 4 dice. It's not 4 dice. Mounted Charge gives +1 additional die, or if you're super heavy, +2. Goodbye. Goodbye, blue guys. You were very nice. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3 with the leader. Blah, that's their second banner. And they get to, this is what I had hoped would happen, because I wanted to get the momentum advance right in there. They get the momentum advance. Now, super heavy guys cannot take the bonus move after they momentum advance, but they can still do another attack, but they don't get the bonus to mounted charge to anything except their initial attack. All right, so here we go. Super heavy leader on regular leader. Oh, that looks really bad for me. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. The units just melt away. And I got to roll for a leader check. 2 helmets and they're dead. No such luck. Okay. And then these heavy. Oh, never mind. They get to order. They get to attack back. They get to attack back. Come on. All hits, baby. All hits. Ooh, that was a good roll. It's 2 hits. But they did not make him retreat because the leader ignores 1 retreat. But we also get to roll a leader save for them. Nope. Okay, now the other heavy units, and they get +1 die from the cavalry charge. Good Lord help us. Is that it? That's definitely it. Oh my God, look at all the flags too. So they're dead. That's a 3rd batter. I was so happy about the left flank and how things were going, and then I died from a devastating charge. All right, let's see if we kill the leader. Just a single die this time. Nope. So they get to run away, which will certainly be back here because these guys are not super heavy, so they get to immediately come up and do another battle. Wow. Oh, please stop killing me. So they only get 4 dice now. Again, bonus is lost. Oh my gosh. So 1 hit from the flag. We ignore, you know what? This is actually, 1 hit from the sword. This is actually not probably the worst result because I could spend an inspired token to ignore the second retreat, but I kind of want to go away so we don't die. So let's just kind of give up the left flank for lost and go over here towards the center. And now we're out of range of the red guys attacking us. That was an ugly, ugly fight, y'all. All right, I got my own mounted charge. I don't know how I'm going to use on it. But Mike beat up Mike. Let's see if Mike can respond in kind. We get A, B. Okay, so order 2 units. Oh, left? I don't want to do that. Definitely we're going to do the leaders one. So we can order a unit to, or order all leaders, and they battle with 1 additional die if they attack. Now, the leader could also move separately up to 3. All that is explained, but that's kind of a normal thing whenever you order them, so they could leave a unit behind. Oh, and I gain 1 inspired token at the end of the turn. Cool. All right, so this guy could actually charge back in and get a bonus die and attack for 4. It seems like maybe, they are all by themselves. Flags would work really well. 1 flag and they couldn't battle back. And then, yes, super tough guys over here, but super tough guys also only got 2 units. So if they retreated with a flag, let's do it. You thought we ran away, but we're back. Okay, so that's 1. My other 2 leaders are over here. This guy's in a bad way. And this guy can't move fast enough to actually get in there. Oh, and I can't forget about my random... Why are you here, leader? I should just have him run forward. Who could he join up with that's better? Not the infantry. That's not going to do much. Let's join one of these, mounted cavalry. So I'll have him to go over and join them, but they're not ordered, so they can't do anything yet. And then... I don't know, man. Well, fortune favors the... Not me. 1, 2, 3. And back him up. See what happens. Now, when a unit tries to attack uphill 2 hills, they can't roll more than 2 dice. So, although the +1 from the card would still apply, so it'd be 3 dice here. But yeah, I think we want to do 4 dice on that. Although they can just do that stupid Parthian, man. Yeah, so you know what? Forget those guys. We're going to try to attack the light bow. They cannot evade because they are not cavalry, so they can't run very well. And yeah, they can't do the Parthian. They can't do any of that. Now, the hill limits me to 2 dice when I'm attacking uphill, but I get +1 from the leader's card. So here we go. All right, 1 damage. Now, they do get to battle back, but light units are limited to 2 dice. And I will ignore 2 swords from them. They also don't get leader hits. I mean, yeah, really, they just need to get blues, which they didn't. So good. They didn't do anything back to me. Of course, that wasn't like the most effective attack in the world. You know what is going to be effective? This right here. We're going to roll all hits or some flags, baby. Boom. Okay. That was 2 hits. They're still right here. They're hitting back for 4. I'm regretting my life choices here, everybody. Okay. Oh, they didn't kill us. We ignore 1 flag, so we just run right back to where we were. That's a totally fine and acceptable result. Bye. Oh, now we're actually in the center, too, so it's even better. Yeah, like this is an issue. I mean, shoot, they need 3 more flags. They could win the game right here. I could win the game. Hey, let's go. I could win the game. You're both sides, Mike. I just, naturally tend to side with whichever side is closer to me. Okay, D&E. Oh, no, not line command again. Shut up. Oh, man, or leadership any section. Oh, my gosh. So they could do another mounted charge with a leader and 2 connected units. Or, I mean, the line command is just vicious here. Yeah, they got to do the line command, right? So it's everybody. Well, it's not everybody anymore, but it's still a lot of everybody's. Okay, so can these bow? Yeah, they can shoot them right now if nobody moves in their way. The auxiliary have 2 range. I guess these guys will just kind of sit. This guy, though, can, come charging in. I mean, let's just go wild and kind of, cut off the retreat, too. Okay, so this guy, heal. Go right in here so that these blue guys are stuck. Doing a little encirclement right now. You guys can go here. You guys can go here. And even though they'll be a little bit nerfed in their power, let's have these guys retreat and have him come in, because that's going to boost everybody around him. And, they won't be able to battle very well, but they also won't be able to battle very well back up. Yeah, because mounted units are limited to 2 dice coming off of a hill because they aren't very good at attacking from hills. But, it all works out here. All right, so let's do our range combat first. Wait, 1, 2, 3, oh. Why do I think these guys could shoot somebody? Because they definitely don't have a line of sight there. So the only range to combat I can do is here. And only on these guys. 2 dice. I kind of don't want to kill them because I want the blue guys to attack. Although I guess they could attack the lead. Oh, no, the leader would run away automatically. That's nothing. Okay, so let's get to the melee. Oh, by the way, this guy was ordered too. Let's just have him kind of run further behind our lines. All right, so I want to attack the guys that can't retreat first. I also want to, break up the flag ignoring. So let's have my hill guys attack here first. See how that one goes. Hey, they got 1 of the 2. Now, these guys do get to attack back with, again, only 2. That was pretty good. They ignore the flag. Actually, they would ignore 2 flags with the leader and the allies, but they got a hit. And again, the hills made those both 2 rolls. Okay, so now, even though the chances are not great, let's have the green guys attack the lone person. That won't do it. They ignore the flag. They ignore 1 sword for better armor. You done messed up. Oh, you done messed up. Okay. So those guys are hurt, and they didn't finish him off. Okay, so now I was going to have them attack them, but maybe I should just have them. Well, I don't know. The green guys aren't going to be able to do much on their own. And I was hoping that we would make these guys run away, because then a flag would fully work, and a single flag would kill all of them because they couldn't go anywhere. They can't even run through their own people. But yeah, it didn't work out. Well, let's see what happens. Let's have these weaker guys attack them first. Or sorry, stronger guys, because these guys are almost dead. All right, so them... the leader does count, and so does the blue. That was a good roll. And now they're getting hit back, though, for 3, which is 2, because they also have their own leader boosted. All right. Okay, and now green on them. Come on, guys. You got this. You got the touch. Okay, that's 1 killed. That's their 4th banner out of 6, by the way. Okay, now these guys... Ooh, can advance into a bonus close combat. All right, we're taking a chance here, but come on, we can get this guy. We can get him. That's a hit. That's a hit. The sword's not, but you're dead. That's 5 banners. Let's see if the leader is dead. If so, we immediately win. Nope, so he just runs way up to 3, back towards the sadly ignored heavy infantry. All right, big one. Here we go. Heavy on heavy. Uh-oh. This might not go well for us. All right, back at you, buddy. Boom. Oh, that was even worse. Nothing. Okay, so they haven't quite won yet, but man, it was close. And God, the Byzantines are doing worse than the last time I played this scenario. I'm feeling kind of embarrassed here. All right, let's see what they got to respond with. CDE. So they could do the mounted charge, coordinated attack, or leadership left. We have a leader left. We could also do coordinated attack. If we did mounted charge, we could bring in our light cavalry. It's kind of too late, though, like, really. You know, let's do coordinated attack. I got nothing, y'all. I'm going to have these infantry. They can be my right order. They'll move up and link up with the leader. This guy can be my left leader order. I don't know. I guess this is close enough to attack with. And then my center will be him. Come on. We're going to win right now. That guy can't even retreat. We're going to roll 3 flags and kill him. 3 swords works. They are equal armor, but you're not dead yet. And that means he gets to battle back. And we... Oh, God. That's it. I lost the game on my own. Oh, sorry. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Blah! And hey, just for fun, let's see if the leader died too. Nope. Okay, so he did run away. But like the historical result and like the last time I played the scenario, Byzantines were just, God, man, we were like wiped out. Now, in defense of the Byzantines, look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units that were half dead or more. So if we could have just gotten a few more attacks on them, could have cleaned up quite a bit. But yeah, that is Command and Colors Medieval. You can see the games are very fast, and there are even like smaller scenarios than this. And the scenarios are also like crazy varied with different terrain, different types of units. So I think this is a hugely enjoyable system. Now, I will say, I'm a player of, again, Command and Colors Ancients, which this one was partially based on. I've played these kind of more complicated GMT Command and Color games in the past. So, like, having all these different units and having all the different, like, you know, these ones can do this and these ones can't. These guys get a special retreating attack and these ones don't. There are some kind of nuanced rules. And then, like, when you throw more terrain types in there, you got to reference them, although usually, like, each scenario doesn't use more than 1 or 2 types of terrain. Wait, I'm just saying this because if you've never played a war game before, or if you have been interested in Command and Colors, but you've only played something like Memoir 44, this might be quite a bit of a step up. There's like more to kind of keep track of. There's more going on in these GMT versions. Well, that also adds just way more variety to the play because there are so many different types of units, and thus the battles have so many different like types of matchups. So yeah, if you're willing to put in kind of the learning investment, I think the GMT Command and Colors games are awesome. Don't get me wrong, I also want to try the Battle of Hoth one if I get the chance. But yes, I think they are a ton of fun for competitive. But how is solo? Well, first of all, as you saw in the play, you know, is it solo? Again, I've been playing war games against myself for decades at this point, but those who haven't, this might feel weird. Like, you know, people already get annoyed when they can't play true solo with one character. This is way worse than, you know, not true solo. This is literally you're controlling both sides. But if you can get past that, how do I feel about the actual CDG system? Because this is the first game I've played with it, although it's also applicable to other card-driven games like, I don't know, Wilderness War, Twilight Struggle, that kind of stuff. And I will say that overall, I like it a ton. Now, let me get the big caveat out of the way, the big negative. Already, the Command and Colors games can be a little bit swingy. I mean, not just in the combat. You saw how swingy the combat can be. But also, like, in who gets which cards. Like, if one person gets all these, like, order 1 unit, order 2 units cards, and somebody else gets, like, mounted charge, awesome thing, then, you know, already the game can swing one way or another, and then, again, the dice can be even more swingy. But the CDG solo systems zooms in on that even more because you're only getting often 2 or 3 cards to choose from. So, whereas in the regular game here, I would have had a 5-card hand, here I only have 2 or 3 cards. So the swings of luck can be a bit more extreme, like sometimes you're going to be stuck into playing a card that just isn't that great for you. But I mean, that's also the case in the Command and Colors games. It's just a bit, more exacerbated here. Besides that, I think the system is great because you don't know exactly what they can play, but you have some knowledge of which cards are face up. So you can kind of be like, should I do this? You know, what are the chances the die will give them the ability to play that card that's really negative for me, or reveal some card that I'm not aware of that could be really bad for me? I think, at least for me, it's just enough obfuscation, just enough kind of hidden element in the game that I can make decisions quickly, and I don't have to like kind of obsess over what I can see on my opponent's board. I think actually the limits on which cards you can play help to keep the game moving in a nice clip, because I have, just honestly fewer choices to make. I'm like, well, okay, I got to move this section or this section. Might as well do this. Of course, it doesn't mean that I make good choices. You saw me charging forward, just got me the death I deserved, I guess. But yeah, for somebody who does not mind mind the idea of playing against myself. I think it's a really cool system, and I definitely want to try it out with some of the like bigger kind of strategic level strategy games that use a CDG system. So that was Command & Colors Medieval. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of the solo system. And thanks for watching. Special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Pedro Lucas, Nick Skeen, Miles, Wayne Scott, and Steve Wren. We'll see you at the next stop.